Local leaders are weighing in on this horrible tragedy.
Yeah, we're joined live right now by State Senator Dave Cortese from Santa Clara County. Senator, thank you so much for joining us, and we know that this is your district. So the first question I'll ask you is, how are you and the people that you've been able to communicate with this morning?
Well, it's been tough for all of us, I think, who are connected to the city of San Jose, the county of Santa Clara, and the people in the district. Tough to sleep last night. Tough to sleep last night knowing that there were little children going to bed last night who will never again see their father. And as a father myself, those of us who have any kind of unconditional family connection like that, it just brings back all the grief that we felt during the Garland Festival shooting, during the killing of Michael Johnson, the San Jose police officer that was killed by somebody who was mentally unstable a few years ago. He was a close friend of mine. It brings all of that back.
And as for the investigation, have you been brought into the loop by any of the investigators so far? What's your understanding of what led up to this?
Well, to some degree, my understanding is sort of a hybrid of what I hear officially from folks and what I hear from the media. I thank you, and I think the residents of California and the nation, thank you for getting the word out, and particularly in our home district in San Jose. Thank you so much for that. I got a call yesterday from the sheriff herself while I was on the Senate floor casting votes on things like police reform. I got a call from her letting me know everything she knew at that time, how many victims there were, and so forth, the nature of the situation. That led to us continuing to have dialogue back and forth with her office all day long. I do have that access, of course, and I do have that relationship with the Sheriff's Department, having served on the Board of Supervisors for a dozen years before moving on to the state Senate. We heard from the governor's office yesterday early, indicating that he was on his way down. And really from that point on, it's been, gathering information as best we can, right down to the names of the victims, which I know you have shared at this point.
And then when it comes to the governor, obviously, as you said, came down, spoke, talked about how, what's wrong with this? Why can't we fix this? What can be done from the state level, from the governor's office, from the state legislature to, you can't prevent this from happening, but what can be done to try and keep this from happening as often?
Yeah, crime has always been with us, so we're not going to ever have the perfect world absent crime. But what we can do and we need to do, and I thought District Attorney Jeff Rosen from Santa Clara County talked about it poignantly yesterday in his comments. We need to use the red flag laws that we have. Those are new laws. We need to educate people on those, and we need to expand them. And I'll be reaching out to him this morning to talk with him about how we can partner on legislation. I worked with him closely on legislation to reduce this kind of violence when I was a county supervisor in Santa Clara County. We worked well together. I believe that he sees much of this the same way I do. And that is, you almost always come to find out in a situation like this that we had a mentally unstable individual who had access to guns, access to firearms in a very legal fashion. And there's reasons for that. The database on mental health is separate from the justice database. It's very, very likely possible in every one of our neighborhoods that somebody who is diagnosed with mental illness in a clinical way doesn't have a record. It can walk right in and get through the 10-day waiting period, not only here, but anywhere in the country, and get firearms. And that combination is lethal. And we need to have compassion for the mentally ill, but at the same time, and we need to protect privacy, but we need to somehow get to common sense that when somebody has a diagnosed disorder that is severe, that causes them dramatic mood swings, like this perpetrator's family members told us was going on with him for years, they just can't have guns. It's that simple. It's not infringing on Second Amendment rights to say somebody who's too unstable to have a gun shouldn't have one. And that's where we need to go, and the legislation needs to follow, and it needs to come soon.
Now, in pulling up some of your tweets yesterday, it looks like you led a moment of silence with the California Senate there. For the people that are there on the ground, what resources do you guys plan to bring in to help the families, the children that you mentioned who are scarred by this?
Yeah, it's no coincidence that the state Senate has been extremely focused on mental health resources. With this state surplus that everybody's been talking about, both the governor's office and the California State Senate are directing major amounts of new resources into mental health, not only for adults, but for youth on our school campuses, wherever we can put it and make it work based on some of the best models that we've seen in the state. And some of the best models, ironically, that we've seen in the state are in our home county, Santa Clara County. We need to expand those programs. Mental health treatment is upside down in terms of the need for it. It's way oversubscribed, and part of that is because we haven't had state and local investment to keep up with the need for it. So you will see that, and that was already in play, that was already in progress before this incident. But I think this incident just underscores the dramatic need for that kind of investment.
No doubt. Senator Cortese, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we wish you well. We wish your constituency well as everybody tries to heal from what was a very tragic day yesterday. We appreciate your time this morning.
Well, I appreciate you getting the word out to people. It's part of the healing process, and thank you for that.
We'll be right back.